The following footage was recorded in the home of Sheila, an elderly woman who, until this point, had never shown much interest in the supernatural. In her small town, she was known simply as the ordinary old lady who was always grumbling about something or other. She had a deep mistrust of technology and often found herself frustrated by the simplest of gadgets, never quite understanding how they worked. The truth was, Sheila was the type of person who had no need for newfangled technology until one fateful day when her lack of technical knowledge would come in handy. She had, however, mastered the art of pressing the record button on a camera. It was on one random, seemingly normal day that Sheila heard strange, unsettling noises emanating from her living room. Not one to sit idly by when something seemed off, she decided that it would be best to investigate. Little did she know that what she was about to encounter would not only unnerve her, but would leave her questioning everything she thought she knew about reality.
Look, the light is on. You can clearly see there is no fishing wire or strings. It's just hovering. Look at that.
As bizarre and surreal as it was, Sheila's phone hovered above its charging dock, floating in mid-air without any apparent explanation. There were no wires, strings, or any external objects attached to the phone to suggest any sort of human interference. The phone simply levitated on its own. Sheila, still in shock, decided to film the incident, thinking she could show the footage to her friends at the Ladies' Circle, a social club she belonged to. The group was known for supporting and offering help to those who were struggling in various ways, and Sheila believed they might be able to offer some insight into what was happening. However, when she played the footage for the group, instead of offering comfort or advice, they laughed at her, dismissing her experience as a figment of her imagination. They nicknamed her Psycho Sheila and mocked her endlessly for even suggesting that the paranormal could be real. This cruel nickname took a significant toll on Sheila's self-esteem. Feeling humiliated, she decided to leave the Ladies' Circle, despite how much it had meant to her over the years. It was a painful decision, but she felt she had no other choice. She called her only daughter and explained her reasons for leaving the group. Her daughter, sympathetic to her mother's distress, decided to visit her for the weekend. Sheila's daughter wasn't the type to dismiss her mother's experience as nonsense. It was during this visit that Sheila's daughter would witness the strange occurrences firsthand, and what happened next gave credibility to the events that Sheila had experienced alone.
Don't touch her. You don't have to touch her. No.
While Sheila's daughter was using the restroom, the phone began to levitate again. Sheila immediately called out to her daughter to return to the room and see it for herself. Just as Sheila's daughter stepped into the room, the phone suddenly dropped back down to its dock, as if the spirit were attempting to hide its activity from yet another witness. However, it was already too late. The strange occurrence had been observed by a second person, giving it much more weight and making it harder to explain away as a trick of the mind. Over the next week, the mother and daughter visited multiple churches in search of help, hoping to find a priest or spiritual advisor who could provide some guidance. Finally, one church responded, sending a priest to Sheila's home. After conducting a spiritual cleansing, the priest was able to successfully banish the poltergeist that had been haunting Sheila's house. The experience, though terrifying, had a silver lining. Sheila was welcomed back into the Ladies' Circle, where the women of the group apologized for their earlier treatment of her. They had learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes the most unsettling and unnerving experiences can lead to personal growth. Muko was a young man who had recently discovered a deep interest in ghost hunting. Growing up, he had struggled academically, failing almost every single exam he had ever taken, which led to feelings of worthlessness and a lack of direction. He was unemployed, and for a long time, he felt like society had no use for him. But then, the paranormal world opened up to him, and it offered a sense of purpose that he had longed for. His first encounter with a haunting occurred when he was only 11 years old. At the time, he was terrified by the ghostly presence he encountered, but deep down, a small part of him found the experience incredibly fascinating. From that moment on, Muko developed a keen interest in the paranormal and eventually pursued a career as a ghost hunter. The clip you're about to watch comes from Muko's second professional investigation. He had been hired to examine an abandoned house that had a dark past. 3 years prior, a family of 4 had been tragically murdered in the house, and as a result, the local council had been receiving reports of strange occurrences in the area. The council needed someone like Muko to investigate the house and confirm whether or not it was truly haunted. During his investigation, Muko encountered several eerie and inexplicable occurrences, the first of which is shown in this next clip. In one room, a mirror began shaking violently, moving with such force that it was impossible to explain it away as a simple accident. There were no visible human figures or external factors that could account for the shaking. The mirror continued to tremble for several minutes, leaving Muko to wonder what was causing this unexplainable phenomenon. He immediately included this footage in his final report for the case, but this was just the beginning.
Так, нужно включать ЭГФ. Так, по ЭГФ тишина. Грохот продолжается. Дай мне знак.
Shortly after this incident, Muko attempted to communicate with the spirit, asking it to make its presence known. To his surprise, a straw shelf holding a teddy bear suddenly began to move, shuffling across the floor in front of a doorway. This kind of response is extremely rare for a spirit, especially one that is being investigated by a ghost hunter. Most spirits tend to avoid interaction, so the fact that this one seemed to be responding so willingly raised many questions. Some people speculated that the family's spirits were trying to communicate with Muko in an effort to be released from their haunting, while others believed that the spirits might have been trying to manipulate him, enticing him to continue his investigation for reasons unknown. If the latter was true, it seemed they were successful in their goal. The shaking of a portrait continued for several minutes after the recording ended, and Mikhailo collected enough evidence to be confident that he had gathered the necessary proof of the haunting. He compiled the footage and shared it with his client, while also uploading it to YouTube in hopes of gaining more clients. Mikhailo's career was off to a great start, and it's clear that his work in the paranormal field will only continue to grow. If he posts any more investigations, I'll be sure to share them with you, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated. On the evening of October the 6th, 2011, a man who lived alone was preparing a simple dinner in his kitchen when he suddenly felt a strange and powerful urge to walk into his living room. It wasn't a feeling he could explain, but he couldn't shake the sensation. It felt as if something was guiding him toward the room, compelling him to go. Once he entered the room, he immediately felt an overwhelming coldness, a sense of unease and discomfort that he had never felt in his home before. Little did he know that this feeling wasn't just a random chill, it was the presence of a spirit.
Holy crap. Holy crap. I can't believe I just got that on film. Oh my, holy crap. That was just moving a little bit there for me touching it, but I don't believe that just happened. I didn't think I'd get anything. Well, I'm definitely going to be filming this area more. If there's anyone out there, please shut this door again. If there's anybody at all out there, please just shut the door. Move it just a little bit, just to show us that you're truly out there. Come on, do it one more time. One more. That's all I'm asking for. Just one more time, please. Show us that you're here. Show us your presence. Just move the door. Please, show us you're here. Show us that you're present. Let your presence be known by shutting this door one more time. I know you already did it, but please do it again. I don't know if I'm gonna get it again. Can't believe I just saw that. If you're out there, please shut this door one more time. That's all I'm asking. Just move. Oh my god. Holy shit. Okay, I'm getting seriously freaked out right now. I'll show you guys one more time that there's, oh my, holy crap. There's nothing even attached here.
After several moments of begging, the ghost seemed to make up its mind and, to the man's shock, closed the door a second time. This time, the man had already shown the camera that the door had no strings, wires, or any other form of manipulation. There was no logical explanation for how it had moved. Additionally, both sides of the door had been filmed, so there could be no accusation that someone was hiding on the other side. It was clear that the door was being moved by something otherworldly. The footage left no room for doubt. Humans have undoubtedly mastered the art of cooking, creating delicious dishes from all over the world. From savory paella to spicy curry, the diversity of cuisine is vast, and each culture takes immense pride in what they've produced. However, It seems that humans aren't the only ones using the kitchen. Over the past few years, there's been a notable increase in ghost sightings within kitchens, and no one has been able to explain why. The video you are about to watch follows this strange trend perfectly, and is, to put it mildly, unsettling. Take a look.
What the fuck was that all about, dude? What the fuck is that all about? I've been trying to fast. Are you telling me that I need to eat? No. Let me try to be healthy. I'm not even...
In the footage, a pan suddenly moves on its own, shifting position as if an invisible force is at work. It wasn't a simple case of a pan tipping over due to imbalance. This was something far more deliberate and unnatural. The pan moved as though it were being pushed by a ghostly presence. What's even stranger is that Callum, the teenager who filmed the video, reported feeling completely normal. Usually, when a ghost is nearby, people feel a chill or unease, but Callum didn't experience any of these sensations. This has left viewers puzzled, and many have been speculating about the nature of the spirit. I'm sure you'll have your own thoughts, so feel free to share your theories in the comments. When you think about places that are most likely to be haunted, what comes to mind? A basement, a graveyard, maybe a historic battlefield. After you see the next clip, you might think differently. You may even start to consider hospitals as some of the most likely places for paranormal activity. This video follows a nurse who, during one of her breaks, decided to check in on her patient Dominic, who was in surgery. She wandered into the security room, where the hospital's monitors were all set up, and started to look over the footage. What she saw next was nothing short of eerie. On one of the monitors, she saw a shadowy figure standing by Dominic's bed. At first, she thought it was just another visitor, but upon closer inspection, she realized something was off. The figure didn't appear to be a living person. To confirm her suspicions, she asked the nurse in the room whether anyone was with Dominic, and to her horror, the nurse confirmed that no one was there. The shadowy figure was, in fact, a ghost. The spirit vanished shortly after this realization, never to be seen again. The nurse and doctor, unaware of the figure's presence, had walked right through it, and no one else in the hospital had seen it either. It was a chilling experience, and it left everyone who heard the story wondering, what was that spirit doing there? Physical apparitions are some of the rarest and most terrifying encounters people can have. An apparition is when a ghost manifests itself in a way that can be seen by the human eye. These sightings can be disturbingly human-like, or in some cases, demonic. The following clip shows one such occurrence, experienced by a business owner who had just entered her local storage facility to drop off some stock. What she saw next was so shocking that she immediately decided to switch facilities. She even went as far as leaving 7 half-star reviews on the facility's website, using alternate accounts to remain anonymous. Do you think she overreacted? Let me know your thoughts after you watch the video.
Okay, so I've just put some of my stuff in storage, but I wanted to show you guys this place. And I'm not going down there because the lights are broken and it's creepy as fuck. If I just take you up here, look at this. It is so creepy. It all looks the same. I've got lost in here so many bloody times because of how similar it all looks. Honestly, it's kind of giving me backroom vibes. I mean, just...
The figure that appeared in the storage unit was disturbingly inhuman in appearance, and Riley knew immediately that it was no ordinary ghost. She shared the footage with her friends and colleagues, but they all dismissed it, offering logical explanations. However, Riley stood firm in her belief that what she had seen was something supernatural, something that could not be explained away.